Now we're going to get into our next heat. Heat 4 has one of the form surfers on the North Shore, Jordy Smith. He's been absolutely ripping. Blitzed the field at the World Cup over there at Sunset. He's up against Keanu Asing, who's hungry for a result, and Finn McGill, 16 years of age and the winner of the Pipe Invitational.
Finn McGill, always been one of those surfers. Even at 12 years old, you could see his foundation was amazing. Kind of like Connor Coffin, he's got that clean, carby wrap on lock.
Some movement at the moment. It's the 16-year-old Finn McGill taking off. And he has a good section to deal with. Nice critical turn. A lot of power for a youngster. And he throws everything at the oncoming section, and I think it's a good approach.
Everything, it's pretty awesome.
Well, the waves are intimidating, Strider, but back then it was a pretty big deal being 13 and paddling out into the lineup with...
Yeah, it was a bit different of a vibe, you know. You had guys like Marvin Foster, Dane Kealoha. I mean, just really Johnny Boy Gomes, all these guys that were just terrors in the water that just had this look on their face that they were going to rip every piece of wave apart. And then when they looked at you, they still had that look on their face. So you weren't sure if it was because of you or it was the wave still in their mind.
I love that story of Uncle Marvin teaching you a little bit of respect back in the day. And we'll talk more about that later on. Right now we're focusing on Keanu Asing. Pretty decent finish on that ride from Keanu. Here's the big boy, Jordy Smith, laying into a couple of big rail turns. Needs a solid finish to turn this into a solid number though. And he goes down.
Wow, I love the fact that Jordy went for it on that closeout re-entry, but that was a kind of a sketchy section and back into the flats. Would have been a massive score though. But look at the flow and speed from this kid right here, Keanu Asing. Nice little carving zap to start things off. It gets better and better though. A little more release there, so showing the judges some commitment. So just 2 turns for Keanu Asing, but I think the judges will really like that Keanu going for it. Much more flow from Jordy. Look how much rail he gets in the water. So again, he is so smart how he utilizes his body type for these types of waves in particular. This looks like kind of a messy day at Bell's. I mean, you'd have to put Jordy at the top of the list for a performance of the day in these types of waves. Soak all that info in. So you get really groomed to be a pro surfer. You know, growing up on the North Shore, you can surf 2-foot Aokai or 20-foot Waimea, and then you get to watch the best of the best show you how it's done.
So Finn getting that rare opportunity as a 16-year-old to take on.
Bit of mode when you're feeling a little bit tender.
Yeah, I've been sore for the last few days and just been on the couch, but
he'll be fine. He's going to push through. Here goes Keanu Asing during the recap. Had this wave. Let's see if it was enough to get him into the lead.
Well, pressure-packed heat for Keanu. Again, sitting at 23. Wants to bump up just 1 spot to keep his job next year on tour. 4.83. And a nice little closeout re-entry. He's already got a 6 running, so he's got himself just a tiny little lead. Finn McGill, 5.03 right here. And while we were away, this all happened, went down. A couple of nice snaps there. Now we're starting to see Finn get his groove on. You can see Coach Reynos Hayes always making sure that Finn on longer boards wants to make sure he makes all his maneuvers, a little extra foam, just to make sure he doesn't get pushed around too much out there with all the power. And here's the big boy. Wow, how smooth was that? 2 really nice little tail slides. And classic Jordy Smith wrap. For such a big guy, he's so loose. Wow, wild closeout re-entry. But again, Jordy leaving the door open, not able to finish those waves off. And 1 more wave while we're away. Nice little barrel there from Keanu Asing. So this should be interesting to see what the judges do with the tube. We haven't seen many of those today. A little barrel and a wrap should be mid-range.
To a finishing ride at other locations here at Backdoor. You can touch on that in a moment. We'll watch Finn McGill. He's chasing down a lead and it's a 5.81. Decent first turn, needs more if he wants to take this lead. And he gets to that end section and just came up under the oncoming lip. A little too much. He wanted to get on top of that, maybe blast that tail free. Was eyeing off that lip for something solid. Jordy Smith taking off now, so a lot of waves. Some neat exchanges. Silky smooth start. There's a bit of power and commitment in that turn, and Jordy just flexing on the end section. Rubber bends. for those legs and just hangs on, reels it in.
All right, we're starting to see why Jordy's the favorite in this heat. That's going to be a big score for Jordy. Finn McGill up next there. Choppy little section there, but he sliced through it decently, and then a connecting float. So you can see, you know, Finn's right there. He's brewing, but he hasn't really connected yet. So it should be just another mid-range score for Finn. Maybe his best score, though. This wave was challenging. It was short, but he fit 3 maneuvers. Little layback hack there. Got stuck for a second, but did great to get back up there before that off-the-wall left closed out. So Jordy responding well, you know, in just a space of maybe 6 feet.
This year, Bruce had a 10-point ride for a beautiful backhand barrel. He's still got the magic. Let's see if he can bring it against this current crop of the world's best. Keanu Asing now trying to fight his way into the lead, and well, just putting a lot into that first turn, and there was a few chops there and caught him off guard. And here goes McGill, dropping to the bottom, has a nice piece of wall to work with here, but sets up a tube on the inside. A good look at wave, and he punches through that curtain and hangs on. I mean, how far do you have to ride a wave before getting credit for the completion? I think he should get some points for that. But Jordy Smith, he's looking to improve his situation, but a lot of foam on the face, and his fins disengaged.
And Finn doing a good job reading this barrel. Quick snap, he sees it right here, he's like, oh, hello. Pulls right in, and that is a cave. That's not just a little shampoo. That is a proper barrel for Finn. I'm with you, Ronnie. I feel like he made it. You know, he completed it, but, you know, it's questionable. We've seen the judges cruel people in the past for not being all the way in front of the whitewash. You know, they want it to be very black and white, 100% make. So we will see. That's up in the air. Watch his fins right here for Jordy. I think, you know, that left came at him so fast, he was just on a dime trying to get back up in there to tap that little closeout. Did he make it or not? Because, you know, the barrel, it's not out of the question that he could get an 8-point ride for this. Watch how hollow it gets. He's standing tall. The only, you know, thing that was so tricky, and Finn did a great job, was it didn't have an exit, so he had to cut through the curtain.
That water, here it is again on another angle.
And, you know, he read that barrel, Ronnie, before he did that snap. I think that snap was a little, just an extra jab stall to slow down and get that barrel. So again, I mean, how savvy is that for a 16-year-old to, you know, have those perfect decision on a pretty tricky wave.
7.57 the requirement, so even if he gets credit for the completion, there is a chance. It looks like he's going to get credit for the completion, but with 5 seconds to go, time running out, not sure he's going to get the score he needs. It looks like it's going to fall short. And Jordy Smith, well, he was the favourite going in, third on the ratings, and it looks like he has got the job done. It was a 5.47 for Finn McGill. Still an impressive performance from the 16-year-old in his first championship tour heat. But he's going to have to reset for round 2 along with Keanu Asing. Jordy Smith victorious in the first round.